Okay, so today we're going to take another step closer to our next target, which is dividing fractions using word problems. First, we have to know how to divide word problems. So we're going to start out and just go ahead and write down some of these vocabulary words. I do believe we're going to try to get to this week, making sure that we start our glossary, and I'll explain that in another video. So our quotient is going to be the answer to a division problem. Okay, and let's see. I'm kind of looking to see here. Okay, this is exactly where I want you to be in the book. Okay, the dividend. Let's see. What's the best way to describe the dividend? So when you divide, okay, we use the house, right? So our quotient is up here. Okay. Our dividend is in here, and our divisor is out here. Okay. So the dividend is the number being divided. Our divisor is the number you divide by. Okay, so for instance, if I have 25 divided by 5, okay, let me change colors here. 25 would be the dividend. 5 would be the divisor. Okay, the numerator, remember that's in a fraction, so when I have the fraction 1/2, the numerator is the top number. Okay, and then the denominator is the bottom number. So that would be this one. Okay, now on the next page, you have instructions to divide fractions. So let's walk through and figure out what exactly this means, and then we'll practice some together. The 3 words you have to remember are keep, change, flip. In that order. Keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. We could make it a song. And actually, one of our fun assignments this week might be for you to make a flip just with a jingle or something that's going to help you remember keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. Now, what does this mean? We're going to keep the first fraction, so you do not do anything to it. You just write it down. Then you're going to change the sign. So we're going to change division to multiplication. Okay, now because we do that, we have to remember the last word, and that's flip. You're going to flip the second fraction into its reciprocal. And reciprocal is another vocabulary word. Okay. And reciprocal means its opposite. For example, if I had 3/4, the reciprocal would be 4/3. Exactly what the directions say. The numbers flip or switch positions. From the numerator becomes the denominator, and the denominator becomes the numerator. You flip it upside down. And then your next steps are to multiply. So numerator times numerator, you're just multiplying straight across. And then you multiply the denominator times the denominator, and you simplify. Okay, and I believe everyone's working on simplification in intervention at some point this week. So This is an example just of step 5, simplification. Okay, and some of you might be familiar with this. This is kind of one of those standards that, or a skill that maybe you have learned before. So if I simplify, I know that, 8 divided by 2 or 8 over 2 would be changed just to 4. Okay, so here we also have the steps for the division process. We keep 1/2 the same. We change multiplication or change division to multiplication, and then we flipped the fraction, so it's no longer 1/8, it's 8 over 1, and then we multiply across. 1 times 8 is 8, 2 times 1 is 2, and then we simplify. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now, for most of you, I'm going to say, you know what, if you can get 8 over 2, I'm going to consider you good to go. Simplifying is going to be one of those things that's going to process and it's going to take time to get good at. Okay, so pause here if you need time to read through this and make sure you have all these notes. Really, the only thing left for us to do is to jump right into practice on the next page. We'll get to this bottom part later when we start working with different types of fractions like improper and mixed numbers. But for today, all we're going to do is practice keep, change, flip, okay, with fraction divided by fraction. So here we go. We're going to keep 1/2 the same. So I simply write it. Okay, so I've done keep. I did my keep. Next, I'm going to change. What does change mean? Change means I take division and I change it to multiplication. So I change. Done it. Now, lastly, I'm going to flip that fraction around. So it's no longer going to be 1/4. Remember, the numerator becomes the denominator and the denominator becomes the numerator. So I'm going to change that to 4 over 1. And yes, I flipped my second fraction. Now I am ready to multiply. So simply put, I'm going to take 1 times 4. Oh, that's easy. That's 4. And then I'm going to multiply the denominator times the denominator, or the bottom number times the bottom number. 2 times 1 is 2. Now, I hope we can recognize, because we have been working with fractions enough to know that the fraction bar means to divide. So I can think about this as 4 divided by 2. It comes out really even, so these we should be able to simplify and understand the answer is 2. Okay, now if you're feeling like, I think I can do this, then turn me off and work the rest of the problems in the book, and I'll have a practice worksheet. Okay, now if you don't feel comfortable, I'm going to keep working. So here we go. We're going to start with our keep, change, flip again. So 3/4, I'm going to keep it. 3/4. I'm going to change. I keep. Now I'm going to change division to multiply. And then I'm going to flip. I flip 1/2 to 2 over 1. Okay, now we want to keep the 1 because that gives me something to multiply with. So I have 3 times 2. I'm multiplying straight across. 3 times 2 is 6. 4, let's see, what am I going to multiply 4 times? 4 times 1. Multiplying those denominators is 4. Okay, so some of you may be like, I'm going to leave that 6/4. Some of you, from what we practiced last week, will be able to say, you know what, that's an improper fraction, so I'm going to divide and simplify. I can get 1, 4, and 6. So 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract and get 2 left over. I'm going to write this with the backwards check mark. If any of you remember working on that, I called it backwards check mark because we start here, we go down and grab the 2, and then we go back up here and grab the 4, which means the whole number is the 1, the remainder is the numerator, and the divisor is the denominator. We have to practice recognizing that 2 and 4 have something in common. 2. So to continue simplifying, I would want to divide 2 out of each one of those and turn it into 1/2. Don't forget to bring the 1 over because that is part of the answer. So winner, winner would be right here. This would be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to bump you up a little bit on this. Okay. Did you get division of fractions right here with this? You sure did. So you're on the right track. Okay. So on the next page, I'm going to work all the ones that are just fraction by fraction. Okay. Now, the next video will be about what to do with whole numbers and mixed numbers. Okay, some of you might be able to figure that out, and if you want to give them a try, you sure can. Okay, so let's try the next one. Remember, keep, change, flip. So I keep 9/4. I'm not going to do anything with it. Done. I'm going to change division to multiplication, and I'm going to flip 3/7. Do not forget that step or you're going to be wrong. Let's multiply straight across. 9 times 7 is 63. And multiply those denominators. 4 times 3 is, oops, switched the wrong thing, 12. Okay, now I'm going to leave it there. We'll work on simplification, but let's see. I know it's improper, so I would already start to think about how many 12s I could put into 63. I know that 5 times 12 is 60. That would leave me 3 left over. Okay, I know by looking at that, because I've been doing this a long time, that 3 goes into both of those. So my final answer would be 5 1/4. Okay, we're going to practice just that at intervention. Okay, so you'll get better at it. Pause it, take your time, see if you can figure out what I did. Okay, that's the best way to learn. Last one, keep, change, flip. Here we go. What do we do with 6/7? We're going to keep it. What am I going to do to division? I'm going to change it. What am I going to do to 1/5? I'm going to flip it upside down. Okay, now we're going to multiply straight across. So we're going to do 6 times 5, 30. Whoops, 7 times 1, multiply those denominators, is 7. Okay, 30 divided by 7. This is how I did the other one. I just did it in my head. 7 times 4 is 28. I subtract, got to borrow, and I 2. So remember, this is your whole number answer. This is your remainder. This is the denominator. Okay, so final answer is 4 2/7. Okay, now absorb that, get the practice page from me, and let's do some more practice. Good luck.